Welcome to Myra's Mods, ladies and gentlemen. My son got an Aeon Pro yesterday, and I asked him what kind of modifications he wanted done to it. Did he want it to look like this one? And he said, no, I just want you to basically seal the barrel and pull the safety for me. I said, okay, done. By the way, this one's got a 14 kilogram chunder spring in it from Giraffe. It also has the top priming bar, 5.5 inches of brass, and an R-Mod scar.
Let's see if we can get a close-up of this brass. There.
Yeah,
Brass.
5.5 inches of it. This is actually the stock spring from one of these guys. It's really beefy to begin with. Some people have a hard time priming. I don't. Neither does my son. But to each their own. Alright, let's begin. Comes apart just like that.
Very simple.
Yep. And these are all simple modifications. This modification that costs you next to nothing.
As long as you have the tools.
As long as you have the tools, Teflon tape's not that expensive. You know, people say that modifying takes a lot of money. No, it really doesn't. If you know what you're doing,
then you can get it for very cheap.
yep. And all I'm doing here is, if you watch, drop the Teflon tape around it. I'll get a good seal.
And we try to test everything.
Yep, I've loaded for my son because this blaster will still have the ability to shoot everything. Like, that's perfect right there.
We've loaded up with some mangun darts in a 6-round magazine. And no, I'm not like Nerf saying clip. We have some pro darts in my blue, sonic blue, how you want to call it, in my telemag. So.
Alright, well, we've got a nice tight seal. What we're going to do now that we've got it like that, now pressure fit it.
To make sure it ain't going to move.
A little bit more Teflon tape. Teflon tape is definitely some interesting stuff to play with. You have to get a few wraps of it around before you can start to pour. And then, even then, you have to be careful. You gently just wrap it around. Now, I have noticed one thing about this blaster, because well, this is the second one now I've done, is that, I'll show it to you here in a second, boys and girls. The teeth that are supposed to feed the dart, they're actually very weak and they bend. So when a child's loading this blaster, or even my son, this is going to pinch him. And it doesn't hurt performance, and actually it helps it feed just a little bit better, in my opinion, if you just break them all.
So that's what we're both doing.
Then gently, if you got fingernails, just take it around like that. If not, you can take a knife.
But we prefer your fingernails.
Right.
And I installed the muzzle brake for this. And it's actually very easy to install this. It actually takes 2 seconds to install this. It looks beautiful.
Okay, now that that's on like that,
we're taking electrical tape around this.
to lock it all in and make it airtight. Because when it comes to a springer, especially one with a breech like this, it's all about the seal. It's all about the seal and the dart. Believe it or not, everybody says, "Oh, it'll shoot." It sure will.
Oh, it
but
will.
Here's the thing: it's all about the seal. You have to have a tight seal. That's how you test your seal. And if you find it disgusting, sorry.
Taking more of this Teflon tape. And people might say this is taking way too long. It's actually not.
I'm just doing this so that way I get a nice tight seal on the other end of the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
And that should actually about do it. So, another thing I've noticed too is that certain people get advanced copies of blasters, which is great. And I really admire them for getting that. That just means that they're doing a good job for the hobby, for the community, and I support the community. You know, which is always good, because everybody should support the community in some form or another if they can. There are some people, they just don't have the money to do it or whatever, which I understand. And as you see, it's all back in like this.
That's so good.
And now it's a nice tight seal. Now, this blaster is very easy to disassemble and assemble.
And actually, to believe it or not,
All the screws are exactly the same size. This is the first screw. Now what you do is that most people make common mistakes. What I've done, since this is my second blaster, on the first blaster, I took pictures as I was taking it apart. Okay, now the barrel's locked back in, right where it should be. Now let's go after the safety. Safety's down here. And if you're not careful and you don't pull it out just right, you're going to pull the internals out and then you're going to have a hell of a time putting it back together. See?
It's just annoying.
Yeah, and
I've actually had troubles with the safety.
These safeties, what happens is because this blaster shoots with such force, believe it or not, the safety will actually wiggle. And it'll cause it to go into the safe position instead of the fire position we want it. But obviously, it's a Nerf blaster. It really does not need a safety. I'm sorry. All right, well, that's done.
Unless if it's like a caliber or something that you know you're going to hurt a child badly.
But most people wouldn't use a caliber on a child.
Right, he will, but it really
Well,
won't.
I have. There's no ways around that. And then start to lock the shell in.
And we just put that all back together.
So we're lining it up. Right now, I'll have to get the screw in a minute.